This video will demonstrate how to assemble the frame for the Pittco Storefront door system. The purpose of this guide is to show how each frame component connects together for a complete, ready-to-install assembly. The frame has already been unboxed. So let's begin by reviewing what's included and how each piece fits. You'll find three main pieces: the hinge jamb, the strike jamb, and the frame head. Inside the frame head, you'll also find the 4-inch threshold, packaged neatly to prevent damage. If you look closely at the frame head, you'll notice the pivot hinge hardware is already pre-installed from the factory. The head also includes the bottom floor pivot bracket, which connects at the base of the jamb and aligns directly with the threshold. This setup ensures both pivots are perfectly aligned once assembled. Now, let's identify each piece. The jamb with the strike hole cutout is the strike jamb. Near the top edge, you'll see 6 pre-drilled holes, which indicate the top of the jamb. The other jamb, which does not have a strike prep, is the hinge jamb, sometimes called the pivot jamb. It also has 6 holes at the top for orientation. The frame head is the shorter horizontal piece and comes with the upper pivot hinge already attached. Lay out all components on a flat, clean surface with the frame stop and weather strip facing upward. On both ends of the frame head, you'll see notches that are designed to accept the jamb extrusions. Slide each jamb into those notches until they are fully seated and flush with the head. When aligned correctly, the screw holes will line up perfectly. This is where the Pittco frame assembly hardware is used. In your hardware pack, you'll find screws for both the frame assembly and the pivot hinge. For the head-to-jamb connection, use 6 screws total, 3 per side. Each screw threads into the reinforced aluminum channel inside the jamb extrusion. Start each screw by hand to ensure proper alignment. Then tighten evenly to secure both corners of the frame. Next, install the bottom pivot assembly. This component aligns directly beneath the top pivot that's already installed in the head. Slide the bottom pivot bracket into the machined notch at the base of the jamb and fasten it with the supplied screws. The precision fit ensures it locks in securely and maintains proper pivot alignment. On the opposite side of the frame, install the threshold support bracket in the same way. Slide it into its notch, align it flush, and tighten it firmly. Now it's time to install the threshold. When you purchase a Pittco Storefront door system from Door Closers USA, the threshold comes pre-notched, pre-drilled, and prepped for the pivot hardware. This precision factory preparation eliminates the need for any field cutting or notching. If you've ever worked with standard extrusion thresholds, you know they typically require on-site modification to fit around pivot hardware. The Pittco system saves time and guarantees an exact fit right out of the box. On the pivot side, you'll see 2 notches in the threshold that align with the pivot hardware. Slide the threshold into position beneath both jambs. There are 3 countersunk holes total, 2 on the pivot side and 1 on the strike side, for fastening it to the frame. Once aligned, fasten the threshold using the provided screws. On the strike jamb side, you'll see a single notch near the top. Slide that end into its support bracket and tighten the screws. When complete, the frame and threshold assembly should feel sturdy, square, and properly aligned. During installation, you'll notice 3 countersunk holes in the threshold for floor anchoring. These allow the frame to be fastened securely to the substrate. Floor anchors are not included, as the correct anchors depend on the surface, concrete, tile, or other materials. Select anchors appropriate for your application. At this stage, your Pittco Storefront door frame is fully assembled.